my dear readers, listeners, and friends. In the grand theatre of modern technological follies, Gladstone AI Inc. takes center stage, donned in the garb of the wise sage but perhaps more closely resembling the court jester. Tasked by the US government, a body famously swift and precise in its actions, much like a sloth in a tar pit, Gladstone has birthed a report that reads less like a sober analysis and more like a doomsday prophet's weekend hobby project. With the earnestness of a conspiracy theorist at a UFO convention, this report paints a picture of AI not as a tool of human progress, but as the harbinger of our collective doom, poised to unleash havoc that could range from turning the lights off globally to bidding humanity a fond farewell. Ah, to be alive in such an era of contradiction and naivete. Here we stand on the cusp of what could be humanity's greatest intellectual breakthrough, artificial general intelligence, AGI, and yet the authors of this so-called action plan propose to greet it not with the open arms of Prometheus, but with the trembling hands of Pandora. Defense in depth, they call it, a title as grandiose as it is misleading, promising a strategic depth that is as shallow as a puddle in the Sahara. The report, a product of minds that appear alarmingly earnest in their endeavor, is a cornucopia of bureaucratic wishful thinking, presented with the gravitas one might expect from a group who have convinced themselves they are humanity's last line of defense against an AI apocalypse. It is a manifesto, not for progress, but for the preservation of the status quo, a clarion call to all rent-seeking alarmists that the AI arms race is too dangerous for the likes of ordinary mortals or, heaven forbid, the private sector to engage in without the guiding hand of Big Brother. The authors begin with a dire warning of the catastrophic risks associated with AI, a phrase that dances off their tongues with the gleeful morbidity of a Victorian undertaker. They paint a picture of a world teetering on the brink of disaster, where AI systems, unburdened by human control, could unleash havoc upon an unsuspecting world. It is the sort of narrative that would be at home in a pulpy science fiction novel, the kind read with a flashlight under the covers by children who are convinced their household appliances are plotting against them. Their solution? A bureaucratic behemoth that would make Kafka blush. The plan proposes an array of interim safeguards, regulatory oversight, and international treaties, all of which are as likely to stifle innovation as they are to prevent the apocalyptic scenarios they so vividly imagine. They speak of strengthening capacity and capability and increasing national investment in technical AI safety research, phrases that roll off the tongue with the ease of someone who has never had to navigate the labyrinthine halls of government funding. And let us not overlook the proposal to create a Frontier AI Systems Administration, FISA, a regulatory agency tasked with overseeing AI development and deployment. One can only marvel at the hubris of suggesting that a government agency could, with a straight face, claim the expertise and agility required to govern the development of the most advanced technology humanity has ever attempted to master. The very notion is an affront to the spirit of innovation that has driven human progress since time immemorial. But perhaps the most galling aspect of this plan is its implicit defeatism. It is a white flag raised in the face of progress, a surrender to fear masquerading as prudence. The authors seem to have forgotten the lesson that history has taught us time and again, that human ingenuity is our greatest asset, not a liability to be shackled by the chains of overregulation. In the end, the Defense in Depth action plan is not a roadmap to safety and security. It is a blueprint for bureaucratic paralysis, a guidebook for how to watch from the sidelines while the rest of the world races ahead. It is an ode to the belief that the future is something to be feared, not embraced, and that the greatest risks we face are not the ones that lie ahead, but the ones we create for ourselves when we choose inaction over innovation. And so, to the authors of this report, I say, your intentions may be noble, but your vision is myopic. The path to hell is paved with action plans like yours, filled with good intentions but devoid of the courage to face the future with the boldness it demands. In your eagerness to protect us from ourselves, you forget the most basic tenet of human progress, that to reach for the stars one must first be willing to let go of the handrails.